All right, so what does bridging mean? I think this is a common question. If you haven't had the opportunity to, have hear a trainer or I talk about it in class, even if you have, there's again a lot of confusion around it, and I just want to make this video to clean that up because it's incredibly crucial in terms of progressive overload and getting stronger and eventually picking up heavier weights, which is everybody's ultimate goal. So again, bridging is something unique to Core 4. There's a lot of things we've had to do as we built Core 4 over the years. Again, taking kind of like that one-on-one approach in terms of programming and putting it into Groove Fitness has a lot of obstacles in terms of making it as efficient as possible. So this is something we've implemented, we've cleaned up, we've made it as precise as possible, and hopefully at the end of this video it makes a lot more sense to you. Now, this setup right here, the dumbbell chest press, 3 to 5 sets with a 1-minute time recovery. This can be said and used, bridging that is, for any primary lift. So any movement that you guys typically see tracking, chest press, shoulder press, front squats, deadlifts, incline press, the list goes on. Anything that's 3 to 5 sets and uses a specific percentage. So keep in mind your percentage is based off of your 1 rep max, even shoulder press, front squat, chest press, deadlift is a 10 rep max. Time recovery will often say 1 minute to 1 minute and 30 seconds under this scenario. This, for example, is just 1 minute. And then your 3 to 5 sets, 3 sets, again, just for clarity purposes, is typically for new people that haven't been lifting before, don't have a background in it, maybe coming into the gym, it's been pretty sedentary for a while. There's no reason to do a ridiculous amount of volume. So 3 sets is for you. 4 sets is the kind of the meat and potatoes. That's where the majority of people are going to hang out. If you were just my client and it was one-on-one, we would do 4 sets for quite a while. And then eventually we would progress our way to doing 5 sets. That matters because typically speaking in a lifting block, especially on a lifting day, your total amount of sets, that volume goes a long way to determining kind of the trajectory of your progression. And again, if you're fairly new, you don't need to be doing 15, 20, 22 sets of things. Those are for, the veteran lifters that are seasoned and their bodies are used to that type of volume and gross tonnage. So where does bridging come into play? All the time. Like bridging is happening. Anybody that's remotely close to a fluent lifter, a seasoned lifter, a conditioned lifter, like you're bridging every day that we're doing this kind of stuff. Not every day, but 9 out of 10 of them. And the example is this. So let's say your 50% is 50-pound dumbbells. Again, I'm just hypothetical here. Your 50% is 50-pound dumbbells, okay? Your goal is to do 5 sets of 12 reps with a 1-minute time recovery. A lot of times it can be 90 seconds time recovery, but again, sticking with the 1 minute. 5 sets of 12 with a 1-minute time recovery with 50s, all right? Let's say week 1, you go into this, right? We figured out 1 rep max. You're like, all right, I want to take chest press more serious. I need to do 5 sets of 12 at 50s because that's what the math dictates or says. I get 3 sets in. I've done 12, 12, and 12. And then the 4th set, all of a sudden at 9, either my form, falls out beneath me, I start compensating, or I legitimately just can't get the weight up, right? What do? Do I just stop, or do I call it a set, and then the 5th set, do I still use the 50s? Like, what do I do here? So bridging is meant to implement efficiency in terms of gross tonnage. You're trying to move as much load as possible in each set, right? The more load we move over the course of the day, especially in this particular movement, but all the chest exercises together, assuming this is a chest day, right? The better, the more opportunity we'll have to grow with progressive overload, right? Because I want to, at the end of the day, move, and I'm going to explain this a little bit more, the most amount of weight possible, accumulative over the course of that day, right? A couple caveats in there, but that's the main gist. If the 4th set, I only finish at 9, the best case scenario is you still want that extra load of the 12 reps. Your goal was to do 12 reps. So you're going to bridge your weight down to 45s, and you're going to finish your 12 reps. So I'm going to hit, let's say I do 8, and the 9th one I can't get up. I'm just going to put those down. I've already proactively put the 45s in front of me. I'm going to grab the 45s. I'm going to finish my 12 reps. And then the next set, I'm going to start with the 50s again. I'm going to do as many reps as I can. Maybe this time I only get 6. I get 6, I put them down, I grab my 45s, and I finish my 12 reps with the 45. So muscular endurance, again, coming into play pretty heavily here. A lot of people realize you do have a little bit of a shortcoming when it comes to muscular endurance, which is why you don't often do 5 sets for quite some time, especially if you're doing like multiple different lifts. It's just a lot of volume. So the difference there is this. So a couple of things. So let's say on set 3 you finish. On set 4, you only get 9. If you don't bridge your weight, and you don't go down to 45s, every time you do one rep of 45, that's 90 pounds, right? That's technically 4 reps, because you didn't finish 9. So you got 9, 10, 11, and 12 reps, because you only did 8 on set 4. That's 90 pounds times 4. It's 360 pounds you did not move if you don't bridge down to the lighter weight. Now, when you go into the next set, you still want to start with the 50s, because that was the ultimate goal. You already know you're not going to make it, right? Unless a miracle happens. I've always said, as long as you're doing at least 4 reps with the weight you're supposed to be using, continue to bridge your weight. Now, if you can no longer get 4 reps, then you're best off just going down in weight and just grabbing the 45s and doing a set or 2 sets wherever you fail with the 45s. Again, if you add up the math of bridging your weights compared to not bridging your weights, the amount of weight you're ultimately going to move, right? I think the example I gave earlier is if on my 5th set I only get 6, right? Now I'm doing 6 reps of 90 total pounds or 45s, right? And all of a sudden it's over 500 pounds. And now just those 2 sets on the 4th and the 5th set, because I bridged my weights, I'm almost doing, an extra 900 pounds of gross tonnage moved that I otherwise wouldn't have gotten, right? So I'm hoping this is making sense. So that's how you bridge your weights. That's why you bridge your weights. And then you can do that, again, like I said, on anything that's usually trackable. That is usually, it's easiest when it's correlated to a percentage. A lot of the secondary lifts, the supplemental lifts, aren't based off of percent, but you can still do it on things like lateral raises, reverse flies, high rows. There's a lot of main lifts that we track that you can still bridge your weights on in order to climb yourself further. Now, you're doing 5 sets of 12. At least that's the goal. You only finish 3. You bridged your weights for 4 and 5. What do you do next time chest press rolls around? Well, you do the same thing. You're trying to get 4 sets of 12 this time, right? And maybe you need to increase your time of recovery to 90 seconds. Let's see if that makes a difference. Is it that you're lacking the strength to do 5 sets of 12? Well, no, right? You obviously can. You did 3 sets successfully with 1 minute. You're more or less lacking the conditioning or the capacity level threshold in order to do it with that time crunch. So let's bump it up to 1:30, which again, it normally does say that. And now we're going to try 5 sets of 12 in 90 seconds. What's under the assumption you finish that? The next thing you're going to do is drop that time of recovery down a little bit, or you can repeat the 5 sets of 12 at the 50s. Make sure it wasn't a fluke, and if that goes well, you can go up to 55s, revert back down to 8 reps, which is why it's here. And now we're aiming for 5 sets, 8 reps, 55s, 90-second time of recovery, and we just keep working our way up there. And normally you go like 8, 10, 12, go up and wait, 8, 10, 12, go up and wait, 8, 10, 12, go up and wait, right? Does that make sense? And that's how that's going to roll. And then you guys, again, as you track that and pay attention to the nitty-gritty, the progress is obvious. Like, it's undeniable that it works. You just, again, it sounds very tedious in the moment, but like, as we all know, life goes by really fast. These weeks add up really, really quick. And if you guys actually write your stuff down, all these, foundational or primal lifts that we do, primary lifts, not primal, sorry, they come around all the time. And, I do the best I can to make sure you guys get the opportunity to repeat these in a progressional type of manner. So hopefully that answers the bridging question. Again, hopefully you guys, if you have any other questions, let me know. Again, a lot of these ideas just come from you guys. You guys are the ones that ask me in class. I just add them to my list. And the ones that I think are the best, I'll just kind of prioritize and knock them out. And this one I just got recently, and I think it was a great question. So hopefully this helps.